Japan. A young scientist walks through his family's fields after the war. He watches tractors plowing, farmers weeding on their knees, chemicals being sprayed. His name is Masanobu Fukuoka. He has a degree in plant microbiology. He worked in a customs inspection laboratory studying plant diseases, and he has just had a revelation that will destroy his career and eventually humiliate modern agriculture. He looks at the soil after the tractor passes. Black, rich-looking, but dead. No worms, no life. He looks at fields sprayed with chemicals. Plants growing, yes, but soil turning to dust. And he thinks, we are killing the earth to feed it. Then he does something radical. He quits, leaves the laboratory, returns to his father's farm, and announces that he will never plow again, never use chemicals, never weed, never prune. His family thinks he's lost his mind. Neighboring farmers mock him. How are you going to farm without doing anything? And Fukuoka answers, exactly. I'm going to let nature do the work. Because every time we intervene, we make things worse. I'm Waldo, and if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, this is the moment. Because what you're about to learn was deliberately buried for decades. Subscribe and hit the bell. To understand why Fukuoka did this, you need to understand what he saw in that laboratory. He spent years studying plant diseases, fungi, bacteria, viruses that destroy crops. And he noticed a pattern. Wild plants in forests never got sick. They grew dense, healthy, without pesticides, without fertilizers. But farm plants, in plowed, sprayed, improved soil, were constantly sick, constantly needing chemicals to survive. And he had a devastating realization. We weren't curing plant diseases. We were causing them. Every time we plowed the soil, we destroyed the fungal network that protected roots. Every time we used chemical fertilizer, we killed beneficial bacteria. Every time we weeded, we eliminated companion plants that maintained balance. Modern agriculture wasn't applied science. It was addiction. Each intervention creating the need for the next intervention. Infinitely. So he decided to test something. For 5 years, he left a field completely untouched. No plowing, no planting, nothing. Just observing. Year 1, weeds exploded. The field looked abandoned. Neighbors laughed. Year 2, shrubs appeared. Year 3, young trees sprouting. Year 4, incredible diversity. 50 different species coexisting. And year 5, Fukuoka noticed something extraordinary. The plants humans call weeds were improving the soil. Deep roots breaking compaction. Dying leaves becoming compost. Attracting insects that attracted birds that brought seeds. Nature didn't need human help to create fertility. It created it automatically if you left it alone. If you're finding value in this, hit the like button. Let's keep going. But Fukuoka had a practical problem. He couldn't wait 5 years for every harvest. He needed a method that worked with nature but produced food. So he started experimenting. He tried scattering seeds directly on unplowed soil. Birds ate them. Tried covering them lightly with straw. Rodents found them. Tried sowing in autumn. They germinated too early, and frost killed them. For 3 years, every experiment failed. Neighbors said, "We told you, you can't farm without work." But Fukuoka kept observing nature. How wild plants established themselves without human help. And then he saw it. In the forest, seeds didn't fall on bare soil. They fell inside organic material. Dead leaves, twigs, animal droppings. Material that protected them until conditions were right. That was what was missing. Not just seed, protection. And not protection that he decided to give, but protection that mimicked nature. So he created Nendo Dango, seed balls. The method was simple but revolutionary. Take a seed, rice, wheat, vegetables, anything. Mix it with moist clay and compost. Form a ball the size of a marble. Let it dry in the sun. Then simply throw it on the ground. Don't bury it. Don't cover it. Just throw it. It sounds absurd. Every agriculture textbook says you must bury seeds at a specific depth in prepared soil, spaced exactly. Fukuoka was literally tossing seeds on the ground like trash. But there was science behind the apparent madness. The clay protects the seed from birds. It looks like a stone, not food. Protects from insects, too hard to bite. And when it rains, the clay absorbs water, softens slowly. When it's soft enough, the seed germinates. Exactly when nature says it's the right moment, not when a human arbitrarily decides. If it's the wrong season, the seed waits inside its clay capsule, protected, until conditions are perfect. It's a time-release system controlled by nature, not by a human calendar. And the compost mixed with the clay provides the first nutrients the seedling needs, just enough to establish itself before the roots reach soil. Subscribe right now, because what comes next is why this was suppressed. Fukuoka planted his first field using Nendo Dango in 1952. Neighbors expected spectacular failure. Instead, he got a rice harvest comparable to conventional fields, without plowing, without weeding, without chemicals, without machinery. But equivalent harvest wasn't the point. The point was the soil. After one season using the conventional method, soil was poorer. Organic matter consumed, structure destroyed by plowing. After one season of Fukuoka's method, soil was richer. Cut plants left as mulch, roots decomposing, worms multiplying. Year 2, his harvest exceeded neighbors by 10%. Year 5, 20% more. Year 10, he was producing nearly double per acre, while neighbors spent fortunes on fertilizer, pesticides, and tractor fuel. And his soil was getting darker, spongier, full of life, while neighboring soils were turning to dust. But the agricultural industry didn't celebrate him. They ignored him. Because Fukuoka had just demonstrated something that threatened billions in sales. That intensive agriculture wasn't necessary. That tractors, chemicals, patented seeds, the entire industrial apparatus of modern agriculture was optional. And worse, he demonstrated that the more you intervened, the worse the soil became, creating the need for more intervention. The entire system was a downward spiral disguised as progress. So why isn't Fukuoka's method in every agricultural university? Why isn't it taught in every extension program? Because you can't patent a clay ball. You can't sell a license to throw seeds on the ground. You can't charge royalties for doing nothing. The modern agricultural industry moves $5 trillion globally. Tractors, 100 billion. Fertilizers, 200 billion. Pesticides, 70 billion. Patented seeds, 60 billion. Fukuoka's method threatens all of it. Because if soil improves on its own, you don't need fertilizer. If plants are naturally healthy, you don't need pesticides. If you don't plow, you don't need a tractor. If you save seeds, you don't need to buy new ones every year. It's total independence. And industries don't sell independence. They sell dependence. When Fukuoka published his results in 1975, the institutional response was predictable. Silence. Not refutation. Refutation would require admitting it exists. Just silence. Universities didn't study his method. Agricultural journals didn't mention it. Extension programs didn't teach it. But farmers, real farmers, not agronomists with degrees, they started visiting him. And what they saw convinced them. Fukuoka's fields looked chaotic to eyes trained on monocultures. Rice growing among white clover, vegetables among weeds, fruit trees unpruned. But there was order in the apparent chaos. Natural order, not imposed. White clover fixed nitrogen, replacing fertilizer. Deep-rooted weeds brought minerals from subsoil. Unpruned trees developed natural wind-resistant form. Every element served a function. Not because Fukuoka designed it that way, but because nature organized itself when left alone. And here's what no one in industrial agriculture wants to admit. It worked better. Not just also, better. Bigger harvests, richer soil, plants more resistant to disease, without external inputs, without constant labor. Fukuoka took the method further. In the 1980s, he was invited to India, to Africa, to places where desertification was destroying land. He carried seed balls mixed with native tree seeds, grasses, legumes. In Somalia, he launched millions of seed balls from a small airplane over degraded land. Most said it was madness. You can't revegetate a desert by throwing clay balls from a plane. But 6 months later, vegetation was sprouting in areas that had been dead for a decade. In India, he revegetated eroded hills in a region so arid that conventional agriculture was impossible. 3 years later, hills that had been bare had vegetative cover holding the soil. Not with tractors, not with massive irrigation, not with imported fertilizers. Just clay, compost, seeds, and the understanding that nature knows how to heal if you stop constantly interrupting it. Today, you can buy pre-made Nendo Dango on Amazon for $30 per 100 artisanal organic balls. It's absurd. Clay is free, from any stream, any riverbank. Compost is free, from your kitchen. Seeds cost pennies. Mixing and forming a ball takes 30 seconds. But even Fukuoka's technique, designed explicitly to be free and accessible, is being commodified. Because the market doesn't tolerate free things. But here's the truth nobody can commodify. The method works whether you buy it or make it yourself. Clay protects the seed the same whether you pay $30 or dig it for free. Nature doesn't charge for the principles that govern it. Masanobu Fukuoka died in 2008 at 95. He never got rich, never won a Nobel Prize. Agricultural universities still don't teach his method as standard curriculum. But the fields he cultivated without plowing for 55 years still produce. The soil he built through non-intervention is richer now than when he started. Meanwhile, industrial agriculture faces converging crises. The UN reports we have 60 harvests of topsoil left at current degradation rates. Fertilizer costs have tripled in a decade. Pesticide resistance is increasing, requiring ever more toxic chemicals. And the solution Fukuoka offered 50 years ago, stop interrupting the natural processes that build fertility, is still ignored. Because it requires admitting that industrial agriculture was a 50-year mistake. The question is not whether Fukuoka's method works. 55 years of evidence answer that. The question is whether we're capable of accepting that nature, without human improvement, without human technology, without human intervention, is enough. Every time someone makes a seed ball, in Japan, in Africa, in a backyard in Texas, they're replicating Fukuoka's discovery. That cooperation with nature is more powerful than domination. That abundance doesn't require violence against the earth, only patience and humility to allow the natural processes that have worked for millions of years to do what they've always done. Create life from death, fertility from decay, abundance from cooperation. If this video opened your eyes, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been fighting their soil instead of feeding it. I'm Waldo. Take care of your soil.